Hello adventurers, I'm Danielle, and today I'm going to be breaking down my Summerween look that I created for this year's Bristol Renaissance Fair here in Wisconsin. Today I'm going to be taking you through all of the different things I made or enhanced for my look that I did for Summerween themed weekend at the Ren Fair. I am so happy with how everything turned out between all of my props, the accessories, and then the main thing that I made was my vest. This was the first time I made a vest like this, so I was super proud of how it turned out. I have so many learnings and opportunities to go back and maybe change some things or enhance some things for next year, so I want to take all of you along for the journey as I break down all of the items that I made. First, I'm gonna start with, I would say was the star of the show at the actual Ren Fair, which is my cauldron purse. I love her so much. She came out so perfect. The biggest thing is when I'm at the Ren Fair, like I bring so much stuff with me to ensure I have a great day at the fair. I need some type of purse to like hold all of my things, and we always do some shopping, so it always helps to have something where I can put all of our goodies in. When I knew I was going to be doing a witch look for the Summerween weekend, I knew that I was going to need a cauldron. I knew I wasn't going to like make a cauldron by hand. Like I was not going to just like go ahead and like make a cauldron like out of like foam or even 3D print it. I knew I just like wanted to buy it and make my enhancements to it. I knew like I just wanted to get like a nice plastic, mainly like lightweight cauldron, but also I knew like I didn't want the illusion to be broken where like you could see like all of my things inside of it. I knew I needed some type of top to it. The really cool thing is I already made like a giant cauldron for Halloween for just decoration at our house. And so like I did a top just like this for that. So I already knew like what I was going to do to kind of like break the, or like hide all of my things in here, but still have easy access to the cauldron itself. What I did first is with the black cauldron is because it's just one piece, I wanted to make some of like the details stand out a little bit. I went in and I painted the trim, the handles, and the bottom gold because I wanted it to be nice and shiny, and I knew I had a lot of gold accessories or gold accents in all my other pieces that I was wearing. I didn't want to like paint the whole cauldron, but just it being black didn't feel super Summerween, and I had all of these like black bedazzles from a previous cosplay that I did for C2E2 earlier this year, and I knew I didn't want to completely cover the cauldron because like one, that would just take so much time and I don't even think I had enough bedazzles to do it, but two, like I just wanted to enhance the cauldron. Place a ton of rhinestones everywhere just to give it that sparkle effect, especially since it's a fair, like we're standing outside, like you could see this sparkling like a mile away. So it was just absolutely perfect for that. And I just glued it at random. There's no rhyme or reason. I just glued it and I used all different types of sizes, put on some movies, and just went to town. Then I had to make my top, and I didn't know how I was going to attach the top to the cauldron. So I just went first and got a piece of regular cardboard and I painted and I traced the size of the lid of the cauldron on the cardboard, cut that out. Then I painted both sides of the cardboard. And again, I knew I was gonna do like bubbles. So I made sure to just paint with like a nice like white color, a blue color, and some iridescent paint. And for the most part, when I'm crafting, you'll see, I just use what I have. Like crafting can be so expensive, crafting can be so wasteful. And so I do really try to use what I have at home and to save on money, but also just like I already have it, so I might as well use it. So yeah, so I used all paints that I had at home, and then I bought iridescent Christmas ornaments. And so what you do is you take off the top, and then when you're gluing the ornaments to the cardboard, you make sure that like top portion of the ornament is facing down. So all you can see is the nice, smooth, round ornaments, and you don't see that like little bulb that is on top. So I just glued it all at random, and I just used whatever sizes I had to cover it. And then my issue is you could like see the edge of the cardboard, and I didn't like it because again, it was kind of breaking the illusion of like what this was going to be. And so I had this like pink trim from my cape that I made that I'll show later in this video. And I just glued it around because I feel like it just really adds to the sparkles. It almost looks like a bubbling potion, but also just like ties in that like this whole outfit makes sense. And that's like another thing that I do try to do is if I use an item in one of my costumes or props, I try to add it to another one so my whole look looks cohesive. It looks like I made everything, or at least it all came together. So then it was time to figure out how I was gonna have this lid stay on top of this cauldron, but then easily at the Ren Fair be able to take it on and off, and it would stay as I'm like running around and doing crazy things. First I was gonna use Velcro. That was not gonna work because the rim of the cauldron is not wide enough. My experience with Velcro is like, it does, like with the heat at the Ren Fair, I just can't risk it. I need something that's going to be able to like not remelt or like come apart while I'm at the Ren Fair. So then I had these little magnets that are super, super strong, which is a blessing and a curse. And I wanted to attach them to the cauldron, which I ended up doing, but it had to look a little bit different. Like I wanted them inside, but that was not gonna happen. So what I did is, even though it's such a tiny ridge, I was able to just glue the heck out of these magnets, and I have one on each side. I couldn't put the magnets on the bottom portion because these magnets are so strong. Like I would never be able to rip this off. So what I had to do is glue, I'm trying to find it on here. Where is it? I had to glue the magnets on the top portion and kind of hide it in the bubbles. And this was like my downfall, is like, I wish I would have known that's how I was gonna fix this on there, because it's not perfectly centered, like the magnets, because I had to work with the ornaments already glued on there. But alas, I have them too, so I can easily one-handed take it off. It's not coming off if I'm walking around. Like, look at that, it is not coming off. It is going to stay on, and that's what I want. I want an easy take off, but then easily be able to find the magnets, and then it's gonna stay on as I'm walking around the Ren Fair. And then lastly, it came with like a cheap black string for like the cauldron to hold it. And so I just had this gold ribbon at home and just tied it on there, and it perfectly held. I mean, I had phone in here, mirror, I had a jar of pickled garlic in here. Everything that we bought was in here, and I was able to walk around for 8 hours without any issues. But you could always do a stronger string to make sure it's nice and steady. But yes, that is how I made my cauldron purse for this look. The next accessory that I had for this look was a witch hat. I mean, what witch doesn't have a hat? So I knew I needed to have some fun witch hat for this look. I did not make this hat. I purchased this hat and then added everything on it to personalize it for my look. First, I got a purple hat to go with my Summerween look, and I knew I wanted to bedazzle it to some degree. So first, because I already had all of these cute pink bedazzles from a previous cosplay, so I went in and just bedazzled the heck out of the top of the brim. And again, I didn't want to completely just like cover the brim of it. I wanted it to just sparkle and have that beautiful effect when I was walking in the sun. So after I did that, I felt like the brim of the hat was kind of like missing something. And so I had some gold cord left over from another look in this costume. So again, pulling all my pieces together. And so then I just glued that gold cord around the inner portion of the brim and the outer portion of the brim. So it just adds those gold elements to it. And then I had this beautiful gold sequency trim that is on my vest that I made. That was also where the gold cord came from. And I did the inside of the brim because I knew when I wore the hat, like you would see the top portion of the hat while I'm walking around, but you wouldn't see a ton of it. So first I was thinking of like copying the gemstones, like the bedazzles, but I was afraid again from the heat that it would melt off. Ugh, like it would just not be good. So I just kept it really simple. I just like sewed that gold trim on the inside, because again, for the most part, it would be covered by my face and head, but I just wanted something peeking out while it was like this, so you could see some fun stuff. So then I had these cute little star charms. I only had 8 of them. So again, I just used what I have and I just sewed them on the brim. So just that little extra sparkle to it, kept it super simple. I also had this like moon. It's like a brooch thing, but I took off like the portion that makes it a brooch, and then I just sewed it right on the top because I did want something to dangle, because I knew I was gonna have the hat kind of like bend down like this, so I wanted something nice and cute and dangly. So again, things I just had at home that I easily added to this hat. And then I really wanted to make it super fun and summery, and so I had a bunch of these butterflies from a previous look, and I just glued the heck out of them all over this hat. And at first when I did it, I didn't add like a ton and it looked bad. Like it looked bad. So this is one of the few times where like adding more does better. So I just, again, added so many more butterflies, and I think it just looks so cute and amazing. And then even for my look, like with my makeup, I ended up putting some butterflies on my face to kind of go and tie that all together. And they're all different colors, super fun and summery. And then last but not least, I wanted a cute little bow on the back. And so yeah, I just bought this cute bow and glued it to the back of the hat. And so it kind of dangles down and just kind of adds that very whimsical, girly vibe. And that is everything I did with this hat. It was so quick and easy. I mean, this was like a one afternoon ordeal, because again, I just like had everything and I feel like it was perfect and I love it. And I cannot wait to wear this hat more. Now on to the actual like clothing that I wore. First, I'm starting off with this amazing pink cape. I bought this cape. It is beyond sparkly. I mean, look at that. It is just crazy sparkle, especially in the sun. It's crazy. All I ended up doing was taking this trim that I bought online and I just hand sewed it all along the edges just to add that extra little charm, and again to tie it into my cauldron. And that's all I did. Look at that. I did, because like I said, I have those like pink rhinestones that I have on the hat. I had a ton of those still left over. So I wanted to go in and add those, but I really didn't have the time to do it. And I don't think I would have enough to do it justice to like cover this whole cape, but I might do that for next year. And that's like another fun thing too sometimes, is if you can't get to everything, do it the next time you wear it, because I am going to be wearing this many, many times. And I think adding those like extra pink sparkles would go great with all of like the shimmery, like silver painted stars that are on here. And that was the cape I wore. Last but not least was the vest I sewed completely. And here she is. Ah! When I was at the store looking at patterns, I knew I wanted to make a really fun vest, and I wanted it to be versatile. I wanted to be very fun and bright, but I knew I wanted to do it for multiple looks. So for the Summerween look, I knew this would be great, but I feel like I could use this for like a nice regal pirate look. Like I just feel like just in Ren Fair in general, like I could wear this for so many different things versus it just being a witch. Originally, I was gonna be making a completely witch look. Like I think it's a pattern very close to like Hocus Pocus, but then I'm stuck with it only being like a witch look. It's really hard to kind of like utilize that for other different looks. And I'm all about reusing, and especially because it's like I have so many different costumes already in cosplays, and I need to be able to use it for more than just like one look. So I switched, and I'm so grateful I did, because this vest is absolutely amazing. So I was lucky enough, my friend had all of these fabrics that she got from Japan and different looks like she has done. And so I was able to take apart those fabrics and utilize this for my whole vest. So the pattern I used was this Simplicity pattern, S3189. And the really cool thing that I found out is that a very famous cosplayer made this pattern. And so this is her pattern, and I had no idea when I first bought it, so that was really cool. And so what it is number C on here, so you can make all of these things, but I just did the vest for this look. The pants would be really cool. I might make the pants sometime. So there's only 4 pieces that I needed to cut out, which I am beyond grateful for, because it's the front pieces, the side pieces, and the back piece. The instructions do call for you to use interfacing on all of the pieces. I did not add interfacing to all of the pieces I had, because again, this is going to be for the Ren Fair, and I wanted to keep it super lightweight, and I didn't want it to be super heavy or not breathable. But I did add interfacing to the purple pieces. One, because the fabric is very thin, and I wanted it to have some structure to it because it was not the same type of texture or density as the blue fabric. So I did add interfacing to the purple fabric. To begin, I had to add some stay stitching to some of the front pieces, any pieces where there's curved, of course, to make sure that everything lays nice and flat when you're sewing everything. And then it was time for me to sew the side pieces to the front and then the side pieces to the back. So you know, you have your front side pieces, your back side pieces, sewed those together, and everything was lining up nicely. One thing I am still very intimidated by, because I am new to sewing, is like lining up like the same fabric to everything, because I want everything to look nice. So this is kind of like a nice, easy way where none of it had to perfectly line up, because it was 2 different fabrics to each other. So I wasn't trying to like match the dots or match like the flowers to each other to make it look like one cohesive pattern. Now that I had my pieces, my 4 pieces, it was time to add trim to it. And so there's like a nice trim that kind of goes up from the top all the way down, and then on the back it like goes into that V portion. And I found this beautiful trim that I loved that has sequins and it's thick. And as I was sewing it on my sewing machine, I broke 2 needles, kind of 2 needles, and then I was stuck sewing it by hand. So this took so much longer than I think if you had a more simple trim, or if I picked a more simple trim. But alas, I stuck it out and I hand sewed all of it. So I think that took me like 2 days to do. With all the trim sewed on, it was time to attach the pieces together. The first portion is to attach the 2 back pieces to each other, and you have to be careful because there is that opening in the back. Had to take it very slow, very carefully, make sure everything lined up, because of course my trim didn't line up in the back at first, so I had to go back and refix that. But then everything was beautiful and everything was lined up. And since the sides are open and it is like corseted, I only then had to sew the front to the back via the shoulders. So very, very easy, very simple. And of course, just repeated all the same steps for my lining pieces. Again, the gold used throughout the whole thing. And then the long portion of me sewing the lining to the vest, because it was just one giant stitch. I actually didn't even have enough pins, clamps, clips, whatever you want to call them. I could only do so much, and then I had to go back as I was sewing and taking them off and like clamp them together so I could do the giant stitch of doing the lining to the vest. And to flip everything inside out, it has you leave a little opening in the back of the vest so you could pull everything out. It's a little tedious, you just gotta be patient pants, pull it out, and then have like a giant stick. I always have like a small dowel rod so I can push the corners out and get everything through. And then I just hand stitched that opening closed, and no one's gonna see it. It's on your back, no one's gonna see it. It's totally fine. Now, my biggest learning with this is I've done grommets before. I had no issues when I had Joanne grommets, but I got these grommets and I'm blaming these cheap, funky grommets. So I have a little hand clamp when it comes to like doing the grommets, and every single one is busted. It is warped. It is disgusting. It wouldn't even like go through like the fabric. Like it was so bad. Even before I went to the Ren Fair just to do the try on the day before, a grommet completely came out. So I for sure am going back, ripping these out and getting some better grommets. So if you have any recommendation on great grommets, please let me know, because these were so disgusting and I'm so pissed off at it. And of course, when I wore it at the Ren Fair, no one saw, only I knew, but it was very disappointing when you work so hard on something and then it's the grommets that are like ruining the whole look. Just to tie everything together, I used this beautiful gold trim and then just burnt the edges to help with the fraying. And that is the completed vest. So I mean, just perfect. Love all the sparkles. I love all the gold accents. I think it's great. But yeah, if I could go back, I will be going back. I will be going back and fixing these nasty grommets. That is everything I made for my Summerween look for this year at the Bristol Renaissance Fair. Let me know what your favorite pieces was. Let me know what you would make for a Summerween look. And then also let me know if you have some great recommendations for grommets, because I will be going back and fixing this piece. Once again, I'm Danielle and we'll see you on the next craft.